Just tell me what you need. It's all right here, yeah, in Detroit. Don't matter what it is, it's all right here. Oh.
I don't really like to be called a blogger. I like to be called a content creator because I actually write. I'm not just posting pictures that are pretty. I'm talking about issues that matter. So I got started blogging in 2013. I thought blogging was kind of glamorous and it was cool to do, not really thinking that just by being me, it was gonna create this whole like movement. I got hurt at work. I hurt my knee and my back and my elbow, and I was just in bed, just sulking. It was bad. I was in a lot of pain. So I started an Instagram page, and I figured out what hashtags were. It was a plus-size model hashtag. I clicked on it, and I saw this model blogger. Her name's Essie Golden, and she just was like, this picture where she was killing it because she was so fierce. I'm just like, I can do that too. The name Beauty and the Muse came out of nowhere. Like literally, I didn't even think about it. It just was like Beauty and the Muse. Okay, that's the name. Wow. Then I started taking like ridiculously grainy photos, bad fashion, the most random thing you can ever like think to wear. I put that on and rocked it like I was just the stuff. People are like, oh my God, like you're so inspiring. You're black, you're fat, and you're Muslim, and you're like educated. Like wow. And I'm getting like fangirl messages from everybody, from Asia and Africa, like, you know, we've never seen someone like you before.
Got how many followers now?
It ranges from like hundreds to thousands. I run 4 social media accounts, which is pretty hectic. It's a lot. Everybody wants followers, right? Because people equate the number of followers you have to your right and your value. And that was me at one point. The moment that I stopped caring was the moment that I started getting followers. Okay. The moment that I was like, you know what? I'm doing dope stuff and I write about things that matter. Okay. And I feel really good about the projects that I have done and what I've accomplished. I don't really care anymore. I'm just gonna keep doing it because this is like what I like to do. Right. And I swear to God, at that moment, people started really digging it.
Say sets you apart? Surely there's other people who do what you do.
I don't really compete or worry about what people do in my field because that doesn't, at the end of the day, help me. Right. But what sets me apart from like other bloggers would be that I'm an artist first and a business person second, even though I have a business degree, and it should be the other way around. I'm not an advertising blogger. I'm not an advertising company. Right. And bloggers that do that, that's cool, but I'm not falling over a brick or a log to get you to sponsor me. Yeah. And like I said before, it's ups and downs to that because I don't make a lot of money from it, right? But when I do get a campaign, it's an amazing campaign.
What are some major publications that you've been a part of, and how did those projects come up?
Yeah, so I've been featured in Marie Claire UK, 17 Mag, their Instagram page. So that was big because I was very into 17 magazine when I was younger. Okay. Like they never had anyone who looked like me. It was amazing to be an almost 30-year-old woman being featured. So I was just like, wow, like
that's gotta be groundbreaking. That's
cool. It was. I'm just like, wow, that's so cool. I've been featured in BuzzFeed twice. Okay. Huffington Post 3 times, okay. Yahoo Style, Bustle, like editors or people who like working for these companies, and they, I guess, follow my work. And so when an opportunity arises, they'll be like, hey, feature her. That's how usually it happens. I'm referred by somebody who just follows me, okay, who has influence with these publications.
So you spoke to me recently about an award that you won. So tell me what that was, how that came about, what came along with winning the award, and what that means to you.
it's still like, it's overwhelming to even think about it. There's this foundation called the Kresge Foundation. They do a lot of fellowships for artists in the city and in Michigan. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. I wanted them to be like blown away. Like, I wanted to grab them by the collar and I wanted them to be shooken up a little bit. So I started off super raw, super hard, super dynamic. Just opened myself up to them, and as an artist, a true artist. They sent me an email saying that I didn't win the Kresge Fellowship, but you won the Gilda Award. And I'm just like, oh my God. That they thought like my work, and this is like not pictures, because I always get accolades for my photos. Like, oh, she's so pretty, she's so photogenic. This was strictly my words.
That means so
it's
much.
so much more, it's so much more. So this is like the biggest accolade or accomplishment.
Do you get money to support your art? What does that mean?
The Gilda Award, it's a small art grant so that you can kind of fund your creative passions and endeavors. So mine is like traveling to other states, putting Detroit on the map, and being like, hey, you know, there's some dope artists here. You know, I'm African American, I'm fat, I'm Muslim, and I do art, I live art, I breathe it, it's me. And I'm also, you know, I'm a Detroiter.
Tell me, what are some of the top 3 things that you would tell young women who are reading 17, like that age demographic?
I actually wrote an article or an essay about that, a letter to my younger self, where I kind of dropped that knowledge, because there's a lot of stuff that I wish somebody would have told me. The first thing that I would tell them is that you have to be comfortable with who you are, because who else is going to be comfortable with you if you're not comfortable with you? You have to kind of be self-centered, and not like self-centered where it's like arrogant, I don't care about myself, selfish, but self-centered. Like, I'm centering myself in this space. I am here, I'm strong, I'm confident, and I will be respected as such. Another thing is to be original. With social media, a lot of people are fake, or they're copycats of somebody else. Be inspired by somebody and take that inspiration and make it to your own situation. And the third thing is to support your fellow women. That's lacking, I think, right now. If someone has beautiful lipstick on like yourself, girl, that color is amazing on you. A lot of times we're scared to speak to each other. We're scared to do anything with each other. If you see her struggling, support her, because we all need support. Like, I need support still. I do think like mentors are definitely important. So if you do want to do something like blogging or modeling or writing or anything you want to do, find someone who's in your field, because that's definitely going to help you. They're going to kind of steer you and guide you. Even if it's not someone in your field, but let's say like I'm a writer, I know DJs or people who sing or people who dance. I also get inspiration and I guess mentorship from them. We might not do the same thing, but we are in the creative field. Figure out what it is you want to do, and is this a hobby or do you want to make this a career? Like, what are the current trends for blogging? You know, what is my niche? It's finding your niche and finding your voice.
Right.
And then patience and diligence.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there's no greater honor than to have a work, especially as an artist, be in the Detroit Institute of Arts. I mean, it's a world-renowned museum. To know as a student that I would visit here frequently, and then now to have work here is pretty incredible. You know, and I pinch myself daily.
So Jenny, I'm so excited to be here at your Deciphered exhibit at the DIA. You want to show me through the exhibit?
Yes, welcome Sheila.
Perfect.
Deciphered is an exhibit that I spent 3 years working on. And actually my first picture was Trick Trick.
That's this one here?
Yes. First and foremost, this is a photography exhibit. So the flow of the photographs have to make sense together. In many cases, we just did what photographs look best, you know, that complemented each other.
How many pictures total?
There's 81 photographs total in the exhibit. I actually did 100, but the original wish list was 50. And then as I went along, it was very hard to narrow it down because there's so many people that are so important. I had always been a fan of like rock and roll and Motown, and noticed a lot of those photographs were in museum archives, but hip hop is not. So I thought creating this bodywork would be a valuable asset. And I've always been inspired by Detroit. A journalist that interviewed me for Heart Soul Detroit, a book I did a couple years ago, had said a quote about Detroit has a way of calling their children home. I think this magnet, I don't know exactly what it is, but you can't deny the power of Detroit. For me, it's like a muse. Like all my projects have been Detroit-centered. Because for me, I find there's so much magic and wonder here in the city, and as an artist, I just want to capture that some way. I wanted it to feel like Detroit. I wanted it to feel like the artists. And I also wanted to show our city that hadn't really been seen. For a photographer, there's no better like genre of music to photograph, because it's such a fun group of people to photograph, because they're creative, they get it, you know, they get the like artistic license, the process, so they want to make the best picture possible. Detroit's hip hop is really unique in the fact that it takes from a lot of different genres. Like it takes from, you know, funk, it takes from Motown, it takes from techno. I think because of that, Detroit has a more like eclectic kind of unique sound. I'm an advertising and commercial photographer, so I'm very used to producing shoots. So for these shots, they may look simple, but there's actually a lot of thought. You know, you have to think about the location, coordinating with like the artist's time. You know, how do you want them to look in their portrait? Like, is it, you know, their clothing styling? If it's women, it's like the hair and the makeup, and even the men, like what hat do I wear? The car culture in Detroit's so important. So, you know, getting the right American car to the decade. So there's a lot of little things that kind of, you know, it's just part of the production. It wasn't a stretch to do this.
Okay. Are you still in the meantime doing your commercial and advertising photography?
Oh yeah, I have to, because that's what funds these passion projects. I didn't receive a grant or anything to do this work, or generally any of my passion projects I don't, just because the grant process is such a long process. I always feel like by the time I get the grant, I could have been done with the work. So I really approached this exhibit like more academic. Like I really became a student of hip hop, which was pretty incredible. So, you know, not only as an artist learning about hip hop, I learned a lot about race and like the political kind of, I guess, arena that this music lives in. Only like when you delve into projects like this, it's like you're throwing yourself into like this new world.
Tell me about this, who these people are, what it means, how you had the vision to pull this picture together.
If I were to have few pictures of women in this exhibit, I was going to have the strongest ones possible.
Sure, absolutely.
So I thought you know, you couldn't really get any stronger than women activists, you know, or just women in general. Because for me, like, I don't think there's anything more beautiful or powerful as a group of women standing together for the common cause of something positive. The Black Lives Matter, this was important for me to do too, because I felt like it was the contrast of eras, where this is of today and this is from the 60s. And really it's, in a sense, it's like the same argument, you know, the same problem, but just in a different time. Art is reflective of the times, so it's important to do that as an artist, to make sure your art is reflective of the era that, you know, you document.
Absolutely.
During this process, I wanted the pictures to feel like the artist, so I asked them, like, where would you like your picture taken and why? And I really worked with the person, you know, as how they would like their photograph taken. So I feel like together we created something for Detroit that's very representative of the city.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to be in the circus? Well, today I'm going to get to find out. I'm at the Detroit Fly House Circus School located in the Eastern Market, and I'm super excited, but I'm also a little nervous. Today I'm going to do some trapeze, aerial art, and acrobatics. Circus performing is the latest art craze to hit Detroit, and I want to see what all the excitement's about. Let's go inside. Wish me luck.
Aerial dance and aerial acrobatics are movement art. So we can really portray a story through that during our showcases or during our performances. We try to take a little bit of what's trying to be conveyed and match music and motion to whatever feeling we're trying to provide. I'm Veronica. I'm one of the instructors and performers here at the Detroit Fly House. I teach classes, I teach aerial, I teach hula hoop, and I teach acrobatics. Wrap your legs from around the outside. We're going to swirl all the way around. And then I'm going to put my second foot right on this. I'm going to put that foot on, and I'm going to push it to the side. So we're going to sit like an L. The Detroit Fly House has been around for about 9 years. We've been performing the whole time, teaching classes. We have hundreds of people. Our classes sell out every session, so it's a really fun place to come hang out. Push towards the door. Sit in the L, and you're doing it with a big smile. First trick. Most people have heard of Eastern Market, and they'll come and they understand that we're right here, so it provides a familiar location for them. You'll see during market days, we'll have the doors open whenever we can, and people will stop in, we'll see them peeking.
I came here walking to the Eastern Market and one Saturday, and the doors were open. We could see what they're doing here, and I ended up here. My first time flying was a private with my friend Terry and my daughter. We came here, we were afraid, we went out, all the emotions high, smiling. It was amazing.
I don't have to jump up into him, I need to roll forward with my knees. So here we go. I need to keep looking forward and keep my chest up without bending.
They show you, you ask you to do it, and you're doing it, and it works, and you're just proud of yourself.
My role here at the Detroit Fly House is a teacher and a performer. So for me, juggling and everything, just doing your own thing, it's just fun, and when people are impressed by what you do, because it's weird. It's not like a normal thing anybody does.
We provide circus for everybody. There's nobody, no body type that doesn't fit circus. There's no activity level that doesn't fit. If you want to come in and have a good time, we will be able to show you moves that suit you, that are fun for you. Some people come for a workout. Some people come to hang out with their friends. Some people want to perform, and we'll turn you into a performer. We really provide a friendly environment for everybody to come and play. So use this hand and pull straight up. Yep. Cross it over your ankle. Yep, and then we're going to go pinky toe side in. Knee is up, and then you're going to reach up and stand straight up on that. Yep. Yes. And then you're going to lean to the right. Yes. Okay. You can slide and then reach out. You do. Yes.
However you look, whatever age step you have, they make you fly. They make you have a really good experience. They make you feel good about your body.
Oh, yeah. And really lean. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. And we'll spin you the other way. In any group, you might have a student that wants to do something very close to the top, and they want to do a drop and be very exciting. And then the next person in line thinks, that's really not my show. And we'll provide the option to just, here's another skill that works the same way, very close to the ground. So our instructors here, I think, are really good at parsing out what each person is here for individually and where their skill level is, and working right from there to keep everybody feeling safe.
You're getting more confident because you're coming here, see these people doing their performance in the circus, and you think, oh no, that's nothing for me, I can't do that. And then it's your turn, and you do it, and you're driving home and you're proud of yourself.
lot of people keep asking me about this ghetto nerd thing and trying to understand it. I was a nerd in the ghetto, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that, you know, anything about my behavior or anything like that. It's just a statement to let people know where I'm from. I made it out. You can make it out. You don't have to be a product of your environment. Just because you're in that, you can stand out. You can be different.
You got a new whip? Well, that's cool. You got a new chick? Oh, that's news. You getting so lit. Congrats to you. We celebrating because baby using the bathroom. We celebrating.
My kids became fans of my former music. I was a little self-conscious about it because it wasn't clean music. It was profanity in it. And I'm sitting here, I'm cringing, because I'm like listening to myself rap about stuff, and I'm like, I need to make something that they can listen to that doesn't make me cringe.
Slide it to my wife, babe, I'll be back soon. But my wife not stupid. She knew exactly what I was doing.
There's a time and a place, and I just think the potty training stuff, the family stuff is just really gaining its momentum online. I got lucky with that. I think what ended up catapulting that video to and giving it that push was when the rapper Trina out of Florida shared my video. Yeah, when she shared it, because she has like 10 million followers on Facebook, I think. When she shared it, it just went through the roof. Like it just was blah, 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 like we just kept getting shared and shared and shared.
Deal. You got a new whip? Well, that's cool. You got a new chick? Oh, that's news. You getting so lit. Congrats to you. We celebrating because baby using the bathroom. We celebrating because baby using the bathroom.
So this is the sound booth. This is where all of the lyrical magic happens. When you're an artist, you love going in the booth. I mean, that's where...
Because you're just at home.
Right.
Okay.
That's where you want to be. I started music in high school. A friend of mine told me about, you know, wanting to start a group together. And I thought it was a really good idea, so I jumped in. Once I got the bug, once I went in the studio for the first time, it was over. I was like, man, this is fun. I want to do this. I was born in the inner city, right over on the east side of Detroit, raised over there, but my mind never fit in. If you go to my social media, it says from the ghetto, never fit in.
Right.
Moved to the suburbs, never fit in. So I created my own world to exist in.
I'm not I'm a god.
Yeah, now if you want to talk to me about like techie stuff, like cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and stuff like that, I mean, I can have that conversation with you all day long. I am very much a nerd.
They ain't know that the Anglo changed the whole thing, so we see color over the same goals. Cause if we both see po folks as our kin folks, our skin cloaks are disappeared like thin smoke.
My upbringing gave me stories. I tell people I grew up, my mother was sick my entire life, so my father had his issues. There was a lot of struggling, there was a lot of pain. I would even go as far as to say suffering from the entire family. Now, one of the things about art is suffering seems to go hand in hand with art. I mean, I don't know why it's that way. Sometimes I hate it's that way.
I'm not I'm a guy.
I mean, you look at some of the greatest, like Shakespeare, all of his stuff was so dark.
Yeah.
But it was great. The experiences and the pain and the upbringing really helped make me ambitious. It made me very, very artistic. I'm just looking at time as a commodity. You'd be surprised on how much that changes what you can get done, how you get things done. I look at it like this. Everybody has money or earns their own money some way, shape, or form. People do with their money what they want to do with their money. It's my choice. It's my money. It's my commodity. Time is no different. It's probably the most valuable and the most expensive commodity that we have. And I use my time more in an investment standpoint. So while everyone else may be enjoying football or watching the baseball games or the basketball games and investing their time into that, I'll be writing a book, or I'll be working on a song, or I'll be writing a script. I joined at 17. I was with the 300th Military Police Brigade, and we got deployed. I was really, really deep into my music career at the time. It just, like, my career just seemed like it was starting to take off and getting a little bit of buzz around the city. So I went to Cuba. Everybody in my unit knew that I did music. A couple of my buddies that were in my unit with me, they were like, well, why don't you put on a show here? Technically, I was the first hip-hop act to ever perform in Guantanamo Bay. No hip-hop performance or R&B performance, for that matter, had ever been to Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. We broke that mold.
For the first time that you're gonna be a daddy, you know, depending on the circumstances or the situations you're in, that news can mean different things for different people.
My kids are my biggest fan. They're very supportive. I don't have any real major complaints in that department. They're huge fans. Like my son, Brendan, he's like, would always, Daddy, can you put your music on so we can hear it? With me wanting to share stuff with my children, it motivated me to do something cleaner.
It's really the best just to see them smile, see them running around, frown upside down.
And as I thought about the concept of the album and where I wanted to go with the songs, one of the things you start to think about as a parent is your mortality. So I said, if I was to go tomorrow, because tomorrow isn't promised for any of us, what would I be leaving my kids with as far as like a message? That's where I started writing songs, because now it was, okay, what would I want to say to them if I was not here tomorrow? So that's where you go to the album. It's titled Parenthood, and you go to that album and you hear a song called Be a Man.
I'ma teach you how to be a man, but first pull up your pants. You gotta learn how to stand up.
My son, Brendan, is actually writing his own graphic novel right now. He's 9.
I usually just paint them myself on the computer.
So yeah, their entrepreneurial spirit is just like completely on point. The nerd gene carried on. Both my sons are computer coders. They code video games. They play them, but then they spend hours coding them, which is cool. I like to see that.
Trick folks been getting dick for years, thinking the only slave ship tears came from dark skin. I beg pardon for my French, but this shit is sick. We gotta quit twisting the truth for nonsense. Cause for a quick pence, an Englishman sent Englishmen over on slave ships to slave with.
I'm working on an EP, getting ready to come out with a short album, probably gonna be about 8 to 10 songs. That's what I'm actively creating right now. Then I'm gonna plan on touring that. I actually just got done talking to my manager about that earlier today, about hitting some clubs here in the local area once we get these songs mixed and mastered.
Who made up the rules you live life to?
I'm working on volume 2 to my graphic novel. I just keep trying to give people the best quality stuff that I can give them. You know, give them, whether it's the writing, the music, the film, whatever. Just keep it coming. I mean, we all do day jobs because that's what pays the bills. But we really want to do what we love. And I love creating. I love, music. I love film. I love writing. If I can sit in my, home office and just write and create, and that bring me in the livelihood, I mean, all day.
Y'all got